Hello there, Snacks. Welcome back. My name is Jack. Would I be the a-hole for telling my friend I won't pet sit because of a stipulation her husband made? This story began in mid-December. I, 30 female, have a friend, also 30 female. I'll call her Cass, who asked me to watch her and her new husband's 30 male, I'll call him David, pets. 2 cats, 2 dogs, from the 22nd to the 27th of December for them to spend time with his family. David's mom bought plane tickets for them to visit for Christmas, and David had planned on having one of his friends watch the pets. Now, apparently, David and his friend had a falling out over League of Legends, and he burned that bridge with a very vicious comment. Cass asked me if I would be willing to watch the pets for them for the same amount of money that they would have paid the other friend, $500. Cass also offered to cover my gas since I live about 40 minutes away without traffic, but would usually be around 1 to 1.5 hours due to traffic. I agreed to help pet sit under the impression that I would be going back and forth from my house to hers. I asked to meet with the pets before and get any information I needed in their care, etc., so we set a date to do that about 3 weeks before they left. We met up, and I made lots of notes and also wanted to meet her husband so he knew who was taking care of his pets and house while he was away. It was while I was on this visit that I learned that they wanted me to stay at the house overnight while they were gone and be at the house a good part of the time. They were willing to offer their food and use of their entertainment services on their TV. This was fine with me, as I thought it fair and such. I had only been dealing with Cass up to this point, and I barely met her husband for 2 to 3 minutes for the first time ever, since he was asleep till noon and was focused on building furniture that just came in when he was awake. Now, things went downhill this afternoon because Cass wanted to talk since she was having anxiety about leaving her cat that she brought into the relationship. She has been home with all the pets since she quit her job earlier this month, and even before that would visit and let them out during lunch, which is also something David would do as well. To help quell her anxiety, I talked with her and got the last bit of info she wanted to relay. One was a stipulation David wanted to tack on, which was me not leaving the pets for more than 3 hours. I had already moved my work schedule for both my jobs to accommodate for me staying overnight to watch the pets. However, I was under the impression that I would be able to leave the pets for a relatively normal amount of time that I would need to leave my own dogs alone for when I have to work. 4 to 6 hours minimum. When I told Cass that I had planned to spend time with my significant other's family on the 24th and my own family on the 25th, but would be willing to limit it to only to my family's Christmas since I knew that would be a bit too much time for both over 2 days, and 3 hours would not be enough time for presents, food, cleanup, dessert, and the 2+ hours needed to travel from their house to mine and back for my family Christmas. Since it was his stipulation, she needed to talk with him about it, but knew he'd be mad because I couldn't say yes to his stipulation. My friend said she would just stay at home with the pets, which she knew would upset her husband as well. So let's just quickly summarize that. The husband expects OP to stay at their place throughout Christmas, 5 days straight, for just $500 and not see her own family at all. She texted me about an hour later telling me he was mad and would allow the 6 hours I estimated, but would take off $50 and wrote things that were obvious things I would do taking care of the pets, as if I didn't have enough sense to do them in the first place. Now, this upset me since me spending time with my family on Christmas should not be a point of contention, and wanting to be honest about the amount of time it should take should not be up for debate. If this was such an important point, it should have been mentioned when I was getting all the other information and not days before they leave. I originally planned to counter since the amount I would be paid per hour would be $3.47, and so for 6 hours to be deducted, it would be about $20, and just say that he could take that off, but honestly, his disregard for me wanting to celebrate with my family while he goes to visit his own is just really unrealistic. So would I be the a-hole for telling them that they need to find someone else? Some suggesting that OP could just go along with this, but then just do what she damn well pleases anyway once they're gone. Others suggest counter with the rate of a boarding kennel that is in their area plus gas. Provide a link to the boarding kennel for reference and the gas station price. I mean, that sounds reasonable. And a clever little clapback towards this arrogant guy, but let's be real. Opie isn't the one who's going to deal with the brunt of this Sookie man boy. It's going to be her friend. And I feel with knowing that, to agitate him like that, you're kind of being really rude to your friend there. Like, you get to just say, "No, you," then walk away. She has to deal with the extremely aggressive man-child having a sulk over it. And with that apparent behavior, it has caused some to be curious about it, to which the OP does inform us with it all in the next update, just a day later. Now, I'm sure you were wondering what I did in this situation, and I decided not to pet sit for them. I messaged my friend this morning telling her that I honestly do not think I am the right fit for you and your husband for pet sitting now. I'm sorry, but you guys need to find someone else. This was a difficult decision to make, but I just do not feel comfortable now with the turn of events that have occurred. So far, she has not responded. I am perfectly fine with this because I don't think having her and her husband is something I want. I am a recovering people pleaser and really needed to know that my boundary was reasonable. Having so much support shown really helped. I will be enjoying my Christmas stress-free with my family and own dogs. I will also be spending time celebrating with my significant other and my other very supportive friends. Now, some things that I also wanted to address. I have been friends with her for about 15 years. About 11 of those have been long distance, and we haven't been that close in recent years. She has only known her husband for 6 months and has been married for 3 of those. They did not have a ceremony, but went to City Hall to get married, so I did not have a chance to meet him before checking out the pets. I am worried about her being in this marriage, especially since she is pregnant and seemed to be swept up very quickly with him. I had been on alert about him since he had met his son, on their second date, which also made me question his parenting as well. Sorry to clarify my fumbling there. He had her meet his son on their second date. Damn, that guy is moving fast. Now to note, his blow up with his friend that was supposed to pet sit wasn't over a single game, but over them thinking he cheated on ranked games since he did worse when playing with them, and he said it was because he played with them for funsies. In which case, I kind of feel like the husband is not being the toxic crazy guy in the scenario, and he basically just had a very healthy cutoff with a toxic friend who treats their social gaming like it's life or death, and if you're not doing good every single match, then you are a failure and you're ruining everything. I wouldn't say that dismisses all the questionable other traits of their speed running through marriage. That's an interesting tactic of theirs, but hey, nonetheless, what do you think? Do you think OP made the right decision to be staying well away from all of this, just based on their marriage kind of not exactly sticking to the norms of things? Hey, maybe they really genuinely did connect really well. Maybe they were both just in that equal mindset of, hey, let's just get frickin' married already and set up that established lifestyle with a long-term housemate. For now, though, we'll move on to the next story. Now, this one kind of ends a bit sadly. I think my husband is sleeping with the babysitter. I'm still trying to process this in my mind while typing this out. Husband and I have been together for 6 years, married for 4. We have 2 children, a 2-year-old and a 4-year-old. Both of us work full-time. I'm a realtor and my husband owns his own business. Had a number of different nannies in the past. Sometimes our parents end up watching the kids. About 8 months ago, my husband told me that one of his friend's daughters, we'll call her Ella, 20 female, was looking for a part-time job during college. We live in a small college town, so her commute wouldn't be far. We tried her out one night, and it went smoothly. She's always been nice to me, and the kids love her. My suspicions started last month when I came home early to find my husband had been home. Ella was also at the house babysitting. I asked my husband why he didn't send her home if he was home. His response was, "Oh, she's trying to make a little money and that the kids were having fun." Then 2 weeks ago, I drove by my husband's office on the way to a meeting, and her car was parked there. I asked my husband later about what Ella was doing at the office. He said that she probably stopped by to see her dad. When I come home, Ella is always dressed up more, with makeup done and heels on. 2 days ago, I found strands of blonde hair in the back seat of my husband's truck. I have blonde hair, but this was closer to Ella's shade. I also don't think my husband would do anything in the back seat since he's 6'6" and 240 pounds. Now, last night, I found the opportunity to check my husband's phone while he was with the kids. I didn't find any romantic texts between them. I could definitely tell that text messages had been deleted. If you read the conversation, it didn't make sense. because it was obviously missing the middle part. Talked to my friend about it this morning, and she pointed out that my husband has a type, blonde women, and Ella falls perfectly in that category. Should I confront him right now, or should I wait to find something more concrete? It begins as a very shady kind of mystery. Nothing to say for sure. A lot of possible alibis to make with every single theory here. Best advice at the time was saying he may not be sleeping with her yet, but it sounds like she's coming onto him. I would tell him that you've grown uncomfortable with her babysitting and you'd like to look for someone else. Be honest with him. Probably get mad whether he's cheating or not. If he's not, he will be mad that you don't trust him, but hopefully he will agree to a babysitter change. Of course, others are against you confronting husband about this just yet, because the moment you do is the moment he's going to be far more cautious than he's currently being, assuming that it's actually happening. Of course, this is Reddit, so despite many people having their own theories and such here, it's always going to come down to people just assuming it's cheating anyway, because hey, that's more exciting. For us, of course, not for the person actually experiencing this entire drama. So anyway, we move on to the updates. Nanny is currently at the house right now. I tracked husband using Find My iPhone, and he's also headed home, a 30-minute drive. They both think I'll be working until 7 p.m. today. I'm going to walk into the house 15 minutes after my husband gets home, unannounced. Not sure what the plan is if I catch them. I unfortunately don't have access to his phone logs since his phone plan is through his business. Have cameras on the outside of the house. We have a baby monitor near the kid's bed. I'm not ready to fire her unless I get solid evidence of my husband cheating. I need to know if my husband is having any sort of romantic relationship with her first. Update number 2. I wasn't able to get concrete evidence I was looking for, but some more circumstantial evidence. I tracked my husband through Find My iPhone. He stopped on his way home at the grocery store for 10 minutes. I decided to park and wait on a side street. That way I could see when my husband would get home. Husband got home at 5:30 p.m. Ella was scheduled to work until 6 p.m. We have a long gravel driveway that leads to our house. I decided to park near the barn so I wouldn't be heard pulling up to the house. I walked into the front door and found Ella feeding my 4-year-old. She was also preparing dinner in the kitchen. Now today, she had on a tight top, skirt, and platform heels. I asked if she knew where my husband was. She replied, he was upstairs taking a shower. She then immediately went over to the living room to pick up her phone and send a text message to someone. Also in the living room were a fresh bouquet of flowers. I asked her about the flowers, and she said a guy she's been seeing gave them to her today. She said she didn't want to leave them in the car, so she brought them inside. I asked her about the guy that she was seeing. She said he was from school and wasn't sure if it was going anywhere. I went upstairs to see if my husband left his phone in the bedroom. He left his phone on the dresser. Sure enough, the newest text message was from Ella that read, "Your wife is home." I tried looking up the deleted messages on his phone, but they had been permanently deleted. I decided to wait in our bedroom for my husband to come out of the shower. He comes out and is surprised to see me in the bedroom. I told him my 6:30 showing got cancelled. I tried to initiate intimacy to see how he would react. He said he didn't feel comfortable doing it while Ella was in the house. At this point, Ella was upstairs in my younger son's room, which shares a wall with our room. Ella leaves the house at 6 p.m. with the flowers. After dinner, my husband mentioned to me about buying Ella a new car for Christmas. And his reasoning was that her car was old and not safe for our kids to ride in. I told him that I would think about it. I'm thinking about firing her on Monday without telling my husband and see how they both react. I'm still trying to process everything going on. I'm still hoping all of this is just me overthinking. I really love my husband, and I can't stand the thought of our beautiful family splitting up. Thanks for all the advice. So yeah, again, not exactly concrete, but definitely feeling like someone's ordering a bag of fish and chips. To which the OP informs us all that Ella's family is not a family of means, but she now has a new iPhone, new clothes, jewelry, and shoes. I didn't put both together until my husband suggested buying her a brand new car. We share a bank account for bills, but we also both have separate accounts. Also, I just remembered last week my husband came home with a new jacket. He told me he liked it, so he bought it. My husband never buys clothes for himself. So yeah, it seems OP is feeling like that it's a bit suspicious that Ella's suddenly getting all this stuff. Now, it's not definitive that all of this is from the husband, but if it quacks like a duck. As others criticize Ella's choice of attire for being a babysitter, OP confirms that when she first started, she would come in baggy clothing. Now she comes in dresses or skirts. My husband likes my nails white. Ella has white nails now too. And some extra, don't know if you want to know this or not, husband has a foot fetish, which is why the heels are messing with my head so much. She went from sneakers to sandal heels. So is it all evidence or just evident that OP is reading far too much into everything? And look, maybe the husband is influenced by a young, attractive woman in the household, but is he actually acting on anything that could be legitimately cheating? Well, 4 days later, we get an update. I would like to thank everyone for their support and ideas on how to deal with the situation. So yesterday morning, I met up with Ella and told her that we wouldn't be needing her services anymore due to my little sister being available to watch the kids. Which is true. She quietly said that she understood and said to let her know if I would change my mind. Husband called me 5 minutes later sounding very upset about Ella being fired. I think Ella told him, but he claimed her dad told him that we fired her. I told him that was my final decision, and there was no changing it. He came home 20 minutes later and asked me why I didn't talk to him first about firing her. I told him about everything I've noticed between them, from the texts to the clothing attire she wears. He denied everything and said it was all in my head. I told him if you want this marriage not to end in a divorce, he had to cut all contact with Ella. After 1 hour of arguing, he finally agreed to not contact her anymore. Honestly, don't have the mental energy to deal with a divorce, split my kids, date again. I don't want to be the single mom, always busy and unhappy. I told him to never bring her up again. I don't know 100% if they had an affair, but I think it's better for my health not to find out. I think I'm going to quit my job and raise my kids, work on my marriage. I'm not sure if this was all because I've been working a lot of hours and have been distanced from my husband. Thanks again for all the support. One more thing, men. Stop messaging me pictures of your private parts on Reddit. Jesus Christ. Dudes, really? Goddamn. People were quick to say that you gotta demand open device and tracking. No deleting of messages, no separate accounts, full transparency, because he is just gonna go underground. To which the OP also adds they also told his mum, as it's mentioned in some other comments, that OP actually has a better relationship with the husband's mum than she does with her own. So if there's any sort of alliance the OP can side with, it's husband's own mother. So that's good. Picking up from another comment too, apparently OP has a hearty trust fund left from her grandparents. So in terms of the risk of being financially stable, she technically would be okay with it. But still, personally, I just think it's sad because she's basically just let him off the leash. No reprimanding. She's literally sacrificing her own income and financial stability to try and fix things. I mean, I get there's always some personal part you can play when it comes to this sort of dynamic in relationships. There's always something you individually can work on and fix and change. But I don't think the husband deserves that from you right now. He is the one who's been suspicious. He's the one who kinda needs to prove himself. Many others share the sentiment that she shouldn't have confronted. She should have waited, gathering evidence. But as another person replies, I think it's very valid that instead, if she found out it was really happening, she couldn't stick her head in the sand and force her life back into the happy zone again. She doesn't want to know the truth. I mean, she had the perfect opportunity to try and weasel out some more info when she got that text on the husband's phone saying, your wife is home. Like this person says, oh man, if only she replied with this. Did she see the flowers? Oh, it would have been insane to see what the reply would have been from Ella. But yeah, it seems that despite all these things that the OP could have done, she clearly just didn't. And that's her choice. If she'd rather live in ignorant bliss and just try and repair the relationship to the point where he would never ever dare to think of doing this again, that's okay. It's her life. She's got kids to think about as well. Besides, this is apparently the first time this has ever happened, so it's not like this is a reoccurring behavioral trait. Oh wait, what's this? From the OP. He cheated on me once before in college. We had been dating for 3 months, and he promised it would never happen again. This is the first since then I've ever suspected anything. Well, ba-da-ba-ba-da-da.